darkest moments when the brightest light shining.
And so what I've done is I've found a way to cope. I've found a way to survive the weather, even though I can't control the weather. Does that make sense? I've found a way to stay dry, even when it's raining outside. That is what faith gives us. Faith gives us a way to stay inside a shelter, to stay dry, even when it's wet outside. And even when there are storms. So what kind of storms do we have here? We have tornadoes, right? Now, even if there was a tornado, even if I had severe weather outside, there is a way to protect myself. I can go into a basement. And so the reality is that even when we have storms hit us in life, if we learn certain skills, if we learn how to be inside of the proper shelter, we won't get destroyed. And so weather will come, weather will go, hardships will come, hardships will go, fitan, tests will come and tests will go, but we will survive. Does that make sense? And to survive a storm requires certain things that you have to do. To survive the weather that comes in your life, there are certain skills. And the reality is that if we are in the habit of staying within shelter, then we will be able to survive our storms. The question becomes, how do I stay within shelter? And moreover, how do I build a shelter? Okay, I like to use this example because we all know the story, and we all, I think it's very illustrative. How many of you remember the story of the three little pigs? Okay, so like 3 of you. That's fine, I'll remind you. So the story of the 3 little pigs goes like this, yeah? There are 3 little pigs. One is really lazy, and one is sort of lazy, and one is not lazy. He works hard, okay? So the lazy one builds a very weak shelter. The lazy one builds a shelter out of something like straw or something. And so this house is not very strong. Then you have the next pig, and this pig is not quite as lazy, so he builds his house out of twigs or something like that, okay? And then you have the third pig. The third pig is working hard. So the third pig builds a strong shelter, puts in the time to make that shelter out of brick, all right? So now what happens is you have the big bad wolf come, yeah? And now the big bad wolf, does everyone know what he does? He huffs and he puffs. You know there's teachers in the room when you know exactly what the big bad wolf does, right? So he huffs and he puffs and he blows the first house down. And the reason why is because it was very weak. And then the next house, he huffs and he puffs and he blows that one down because it was also weak. But what happens with the third shelter, the one made of brick? The third shelter, he huffs and he puffs, but he can't blow it down. Why? Because it was solid, it was strong. Now here in life, we have all types of big bad wolves, okay? We have some that look like Trump. We have some that look like financial problems. We have some that look like different kinds of trials. So what we have in life is we have different things that come and huff and puff at us and try to do what? Blow our house down. Blow our house down. To break us down. To make us, to basically destroy us or to make us weak. And the reality is we can't stop the wind. We can't. We can't actually stop a wolf from doing what wolves do. What do wolves do? They huff and they puff. But what we can do is build a strong shelter. You understand what I'm saying? So now the question I get to, or the point that I'm getting to, is how do we build a strong shelter in life? How do we can't be, delusional and think that the sun is always going to be out in life, right? We can't be delusional and say, well, in my life, it'll just never rain. Because if we are that way, it's like, I read this quote recently and it said that if a person only travels when the sun is out, they won't ever end up at their destination. And the truth is that we have to keep going in life even when it's not perfect, when life is not perfect.